She asked Elva, the Fairy King, why conflict in this world never seems to end. No matter the race, they are all living beings sharing the same world. She feared that one day, both the Elf-kin and the Fairy-kin would face destruction. Elva reassured her with a gentle smile, promising that they would always be friends. Back in the present, the overwhelming power of the Fairy King surged, but it was not her own. It was the dark energy of the demon kin, bestowed upon her by the demon lord. Hyri's eyes widened as she noticed a contract seal glowing on Elva's neck. A sinking realization hit her. Elva wasn't wielding this power by choice. If she continued, she would be nothing more than a pawn of the demon kin. Despite everything, Hyri had saved a portion of her strength for someone else's sake, but now she was willing to use it for Elva. Elva unleashed a devastating attack, but before it could reach its Hyri, a radiant barrier of light materialized, blocking the blow. In response, Hyri released an enormous surge of magical energy. The air trembled under its intensity. With a single incantation, Hyri completed a recovery spell, instantly healing her wounds. Even Kotarou felt its effects. His body suddenly felt lighter, as if the weight of exhaustion had vanished. This was the power of Hyri Titania, the strength she once wielded as the great sage. Then she cast her spell, Freezing Sacred Stigmata. The spell surged forward, not to destroy Elva, but to save her. The contract was severed. The chains binding Elva to the demon kin were shattered. She was free. Elva gasped in disbelief. Hyri still remembered. Even after 100 years, she hadn't forgotten what she had said, that they would always remain friends. Kotarou, overcome with relief, reached out toward Elva, only for a dark figure to descend upon them, stomping down mercilessly on her. It was a demon. She was enjoying the scene, a member of the 10 demons of Apru. Hyri's anger grew as she watched the demon stomp on Elva. The demon spoke, mocking them. She said the body transformation was a result of the contract going haywire, and that someone like Elva just couldn't handle it. Furious, Hyri cast transfer magic, teleporting Kotarou and Elva out of harm's way. The moment they teleported, she followed with Karmic Inferno Annihilation, a destructive spell so powerful it obliterated the ground. Despite the devastation, the demon remained unscathed. Hyri, drained from using her most powerful spell, was now exhausted. The demon leapt, preparing to attack. Hyri responded by casting a shield spell, shaping the earth and rocks around her for protection. But the demon's relentless assault crushed the shield. It seemed like part of Hyri's plan. After the rocks shattered, Hyri cast Freezing Sacred Stigmata, the same spell she once used to free Elva. But she missed. The demon mocked her. Hyri's magic was depleted, and the demon taunted her further, claiming that the power of the great sage was gone. The demon went on to boast about how easily they had manipulated the Fairy King. They had toyed with her like a puppet. Hyri was seething with anger. Kotarou too was enraged after hearing everything and seeing the demon's cruel actions. The demon sneered at Hyri, saying that with the look on her face, she would send her to her grave. Hyri glared back, eyes filled with anger. The demon began gathering her power. Then she launched an attack, a relentless barrage of punches aimed straight at Hyri. Kotarou couldn't take it anymore. He stepped in and blocked the attack. He grabbed the demon's fist. His small hands held tightly, and his red menacing eyes locked onto hers. The demon began to sweat. She could feel it. Something was wrong. Kotarou used ninjutsu, redirection. In an instant, the demon's body was torn apart, riddled with holes. Only half of her head remained. Her body vanished into thin air. Ninjutsu, redirection, a fundamental taijutsu technique that temporarily stores received force within the body before returning it to the attacker. Hyri was impressed. Kotarou questioned himself. Killing. It's all he's ever done. But now he felt something different. He didn't want to lose Hyri. Affection, compassion, sadness, grief. Tears fell as Kotarou realized. He too possessed a human heart. But the demon wasn't dead. Half her body was gone, reduced to just an arm and half a head. Kotarou's technique had bypassed the protection granted by the Demon Lord's contract seal. The demon was fascinated by him. She regenerated, fast. In seconds, her body was fully restored. She had fallen for Kotarou. She looked into his eyes. The eyes of a killer who had buried countless lives. Eyes filled with dark emotion. She invited him to join the demon kin. Together, she said, they could rule the world. But Kotarou realized this world was no different from the one he once lived in. The strong ruled the weak, and he hated it. The demon's body began to change. Her cells twisted and grew. She transformed into a massive, muscular demon, her full power as one of the 10 demons now unleashed. She tried to take Kotarou with her. Then she launched her attack. Exploding demon fist. Hairi was worried. She knew there had to be a limit to what Kotarou could endure. But once again, Kotarou caught the demon's punch with his small hands. He squeezed it tightly and used ninjutsu, redirection once more. The demon vanished into thin air. This time, for real. Kotarou hated those who used power to dominate. The ground had vanished. Kotarou had used up all his strength and lost consciousness. Hairi caught him in her arms, thanking him and telling him he could rest now. Elva, still alive, was amazed. She looked at Kotarou, the human kin baby, and marveled at how he had obliterated one of the 10 demons in a single blow. Hairi noticed that Elva was still breathing and assured her she would heal her. But Elva shook her head, saying it was no use. She didn't want to be healed anymore. She had lived too long. With the loss of the contract seal's power, her body would only continue to decay. Elva spoke of the inevitable defeat of the fairykin. She said the fairykin had been arrogant, seeking more than they deserved, and they would never win against the elfkin. Elva urged Hairi to go, telling her that her journey had only just begun. Pursuers would soon come, and the demonkin would use any means necessary to get their hands on Kotarou. She then gave Hairi a gift, a pair of fairy boots, an S-rank piece of equipment. The boots would triple her speed and allow flight levitation, making it harder for enemies to detect her. Hairi felt lighter the moment she put them on. Elva told them to head east, to the far side of the forest, if they had nowhere else to go. Beyond the Warlord Mountains lay Hydrat, the last stronghold in the world, a place where the demon kin had been continuously resisting. It was their only hope. They were seeking strong individuals from all over the world, and with Kotarou by Hairi's side, she might have a chance. But Hairi interrupted, saying that Elva was wrong. Kotarou-sama and she were not just party members, they were friends, equals, who helped each other, just like the elfkin and fairykin once were. She swore to make their dream a reality, to create a peaceful world where no one would dominate another. As Elva's body continued to decay, memories from 100 years ago flashed in her mind. Hairi, in tears, whispered her final wishes for Elva to rest in peace. Then something strange happened. An eyeball appeared. It was the demon's eyeball, regenerating. The demon somehow had survived. She couldn't believe it herself. It was thanks to the demon lord's contract seal. She realized something. Kotarou wasn't normal. He had detected her full-powered demonic fist technique. Suddenly, a large eyeball appeared behind her. It was the demon lord. The demon recalled how the demon lord had picked her up when she was on the verge of death after her clan was annihilated by the human kin and had given her power. Now she was choking. This demon was a lower species from the ogre kin. She begged the demon lord for another chance, but it was too late. She died. Her body withered as though something had drained her dry. Another demon appeared. It was Jua, one of the 10 demons. Azras,